That is moving really slowly. Terrible, it is winter here. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Damo. On today's pedal out video, we're in the garage. It's a cold winter's day. We're with the 205 GTI. I'm going to take a look at the wiper motor situation. They're running like that, a little bit slowly. So we're going to see what we can do about that. Okay, first thing we're going to do is take this cowling off, because that's where the wiper motor is situated behind. There are 3 Phillips screwdrivers, one there, one there, one there. Let's get those off. This cowling kind of tucks underneath this windscreen trim here. So you're probably going to want to pop your wipers off. To remove the wipers, we need to get access under here. Normally these just sort of pop up, but this one is a little bit stiff. I found if you pop the wiper blade up like that, grab that, and then you have access to the nut to remove. Same for the other one. Pop that up. But you probably need to put some sort of marker tape somewhere on here so we know when we pop this off and put it back on exactly the position of it on the screen. We don't want it up or down. Right, so mark the end of the wiper position there with the highlighter, and unbolted down here the wiper arm. These are our 13mm nuts, and they came off very easily actually, but as usual with these sorts of things with wiper blades, careful with that. Once you've unscrewed the nut, pulling it off the spleen, it's not a spleen, splines, pulling it off the spline there is going to be tricky, so I'm going to have a go at pulling it off. No innuendo here, I promise, but I thought that was going to be tricky. It wasn't, it just sort of literally came off dead easy. Let's see if this one comes off easily too. It's not easy to video with one, hold a video camera with one hand and perform the operation with another. So I'm going to just pull this up and remove. That is the wiper blades off. Hurrah! Feels like we're in a good position now to pop this off. You can see very gently. There we go. Oh, it is attached to the washer windscreen washers that side, but I'm not going to remove those. Just pull that out of the way and we can see the wiper mechanism. There we go, that's the wiper motor, obviously. Electrical connectors and the arm there connecting the pivots to the 2 wiper arms, and you can see they're a little bit cruddy, and this moisture here is when I removed the cowling earlier. I got in there with some WD-40. So my plan is just to try and free this mechanism up a bit by getting it oiled a bit. And I know WD-40 is not a lubricant, it's a water dispersant, hence WD, but better than nothing, right? People do replace these wiper motors with ones from the 106, which I believe have the same connection and do perform slightly better by all accounts. So yeah, my plan is to kind of lubricate here, the moving points, and if we can, probably around here. I'm guessing this is a sort of securing plate, and the motor comes through the other side there and connects to that rod somehow. But we'll try and lubricate all that, see if we can get it working a bit more efficiently. But let's turn the wipers on in the car and see what happens. That is moving really slowly. It's almost like it's getting caught on something. And literally the whole thing is kind of wobbling a bit. Okay, I'll show you this as best I can. This is a motor. I've unscrewed it from here, and then it just pops off 2 things here, and then the thing becomes loose. This arm attaches to a ball underneath, as does this arm from the 2 wipers. So this arm goes underneath, connects to the motor with the ball. So there's this one. This one popped off, which is nice, because it's sort of one ball under there. I can show you. The other one's kind of not popping off quite as easily, which I'm not too worried about, because what I have found is this bit of the mechanism is lovely and free and moves quite nicely, whereas this bit of the mechanism here, this is absolutely solid. So the motor's probably overworking trying to push this, and at some point probably just going to burn out. I'm surprised it hasn't already. So next step, take this off. There are a couple of screws underneath here, nuts. Try and get this off and free it all up and get... Right, those are the two screws. I should say I'm in the process of undoing one of them. They are 10mm. Once those 10mm bolts came off, it made sense to do the other one for comparison. You can see this. So this is nice and flexible. This bit would rotate, this metal arm would go round and round, and the spindle goes round and round. On here, this bit here, apologies for the gloves, it's freezing this winter, is locked solid. There's no movement in this at all. So I think that was just causing the problem. Hopefully the motor's going to be alright and hasn't sort of burnt out as a result of that. But we'll lubricate that ball joint a bit and we'll try and free this. Right, situation update. It's been a day or two. Had a little bit of a disaster. Okay, so here is our wiper motor. The problem was at this end here, this one, as you can see, a couple of problems. One is this bit snapped off there on this arm, so that's supposed to link on there, go on there, and this bit is supposed to be free and moving, and it was actually stuck solid. Could not move it at all, and tried to free it off, thinking I could free that off, loosen it up and lubricate it and then reattach that. Nightmare. So wasn't going to happen. Fast forward to today, a couple of days later, we have a new unit. Car parts, which does have slightly different ball and socket mechanisms. These arms look a lot more sturdy than these arms. You can sort of see here the difference. They look thicker. They are the same length, so we shouldn't have a problem. And also purchased a new one of these, which, see, had some copper grease already in it, but I've lubed it even more.
Missus?
So what I'm going to do, this motor looks a bit spare part. It looks a bit more old than the one that was there. This one's tested, I know it works. Maybe I should test them. Anyway, I'm going to take these arms off here and pop them on here. Pop my two ends on my two new arms here and fit the whole thing back up, and we should be good to go. We're about to fit everything back up. So wiper motor in the middle, there's two nuts that rests on.
That's innuendo.
Under there, and then there's a bolt there. The arms are fitted underneath back onto the motor pin there, and I've fitted these bits with the wipers attached onto, which both are now unseized, which work a lot more smoothly there. So we know that they're two 10mm bolts either side. So I'm going to two 10mm bolts either side there, and then bolt that in there, plug the electrical connector in, test, and we should have wipers, and then I can actually put the blades back on. Fingers crossed. Moment of truth. Mechanisms all screwed back on there. Arms are all in position. Motor's screwed back on there. 13mm there. And other arm screwed on there. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Well, that worked. I'll call that a fix. The arms are moving, there's no jolting. If you can remember earlier, this arm was seized up, all in there. And the wipers were really slow. I mean, they're not the speediest, but wow. Job. Okay, here goes. Intermittent. We have bolted the wipers on. Let's put that cap down. There they go. They're working much better. Couple of things. One was there's a seal around here where you have to put this cowling and you have to slide it under. That was a bit of a pain to get back on, actually. Excuse the terrible hat, it is winter here. So I actually used the old string, I used wire, put it underneath first, and then the cowling goes under, and then you use the wire to pull that sort of seal over that cowling to slot that in. 3 Phillips screws back on, and wiper blades back on. One point of note I noticed, I put my marker using a highlighter pen on the windscreen, just now can't get off, of the position of the wipers when I put them back on. I put the driver's side one on and positioned it with that marker, and it was way off. The wiper kind of came over here on the windscreen. So it wasn't set up right, which was probably as a result of this being all slow, so it never actually getting that far. So maybe somebody manually adjusted this here to move it up so it would get coverage. Anyway, we're all sorted. The mechanism in there is all free, it's able to move. The wipers, they're not the speediest in the world, but they work probably 80% better than they did. On the fastest speed, they're not going mad, but then there's no water on here, so I'm not too worried about it. They are loads better than they were, which is brilliant. I got the spare parts, didn't mention this earlier, from Peugeot Spares. Put a link down in the description. Hopefully you found it useful. If you've got a Peugeot 205 GTI or any Peugeot 205 and you want to get into the wiper mechanism and try and dismantle it and replace the motor, which you can do with a Peugeot 106 or one of the Citroens, I believe. The electrical connectors are the same. I think you can upgrade the motor that way, or you just want to dismantle everything to free everything up and make it move and work a little bit more smoothly. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, if you haven't done, subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon, then you get notified whenever we do another video, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Oh, this is not going to work.